think we're good. I think we're good. So, I believe that lessons learned are lessons worth sharing. So, I wanted to make a video talking about some of the few things that I've learned doing portrait photography, and some of the tips and some of the tricks and some of the things that I've learned while doing it that have helped me grow as a photographer. Whoops. Okay. And so I wanted to make a video to, I don't know, whoever, if you take pictures or whatever. So anyway, let's just get right into it. 6 tips portrait photography that I think will help you guys. Okay. Tip number 1, get crazy. All right, do not be afraid to try unique and radical angles. Okay, sometimes we play it safe. I played it safe. Even now, sometimes I find myself playing it safe a lot. There's just certain go-tos that we go to. So don't be afraid to try something completely different, completely radical. Start low, shoot level, and shoot high. And try to find unique compositional elements in the background and the foreground, but really try to get creative in the angles and the compositions that you create to tell your story. Okay, so that's tip number 1, which takes me straight into tip number 2. And tip number 2 is you gotta find and you gotta work with models who are willing to do and try crazy who are willing to try crazy and unique poses, who aren't afraid to really try something new and different. Because again, it's very easy to play it safe, and generally playing it safe results with good pictures, but getting crazy and getting unique results in pictures that really leave an impression on people, and that leaves an impression on you and leaves you feeling really proud about the work that you do. So tip number 2 would be to find and work with models who are willing to try unique and different things, and to not always play it so safe, because playing it safe is easy, you know what I'm saying? So get crazy and find crazy people who are willing to do crazy things. So tip number 3, that was tip number 2, so this one is tip number 3. And tip number 3 is to be honest and to be vulnerable, okay? Especially when you're shooting with someone for the very first time. So when you're shooting with someone for the very first time, there's a bit of tension, there's 2 complete strangers. So you gotta build that rapport, right? You gotta build that rapport to try crazy things, to get the model to try crazy things, and to create crazy and unique images, right? So you have to build that rapport to tear down that wall. A little sidebar tip, whatever. Get coffee before you shoot. I shot with a model where we went to get coffee, and then we went and shot. Okay, that was the first time we ever shot, so we went to get coffee. We talked a little bit, get to know each other a little bit, and then we go shoot. So if you do that with your models, especially the ones that you've never met before, it really helps in tearing that tension down and getting comfortable with one another. So tip number 3 and tip number 3.5. Tip number 3.5 would be get coffee beforehand. Tip number 3 is to be honest and to be vulnerable with your model. Okay, so when you're working on a project, there's usually an intent behind it. Be open to your model about it. Talk to them about it. Tell them why you're working on it. Tell them the emotions behind it, the feelings behind it, the feelings that you're trying to portray. Be honest with the work that you're trying to create. If you don't like something, say it. Help the model see what you're trying to create, and try to build that rapport, and just try to befriend your models so that they're more comfortable. If they're comfortable, they're willing to try crazy poses and crazy angles. So this doesn't apply to everybody. Sometimes you get lucky and you shoot with a model who's like, F it, let's do it, bada bing, bada boom, you're luck. This is generally applicable more to people you've never met before, and sometimes who are a little more inexperienced or a little shy about trying completely different things. So that was a little long-winded, but that was tip number 3. Tip number cuatro. So tip number 4 is sort of like a predecessor of tip number 3. Okay, these all intertwine with one another. So tip number 4 is to learn to direct. Okay, learn how to direct them towards the emotions and the feelings that you're trying to convey. Sometimes, most times, models are supposed to be actors, and you have to lead them towards the emotions you're trying to create. Sometimes, you gotta go left to go right. Maybe you're trying to create a feeling of nostalgia or something, and you have to find something that the model can relate to in a nostalgic way, so that you can get that feeling out of them or something. You know what I'm saying? So you have to learn to direct them towards the feelings you're trying to create. Sometimes that's a lot better than posing, and directing in relation to posing is sort of like just tilt your head to your left. Generally more about like guiding them. So I hope that sort of makes sense. I think that makes sense. Tip number 4, all right, is to learn color theory. All you need to know are the basics. The basics of color theory will get you a very, very, very far away. So color theory is pretty much the theory of color and how color relates to one another. I don't know. Color theory helps you understand colors and what colors go with what. Not generally speaking, always speaking. That translate into better looking pictures. Okay, that's why you see very popular like color grades, like the orange and teal, because those are complementary colors. But there's like triadic and like different. So learning color theory will help you tremendously in creating stylized portraits and stylized feeds, curated portfolios. Like, it'll just make your work look so much better, because not only does a background go with not only does the background go with what the model is wearing and like her skin tone, but everything is just so cohesive and looks like it's meant to be there, and it just makes everything look better. Okay, I don't know how else to say it. It is what it is. It makes things look better, and your pictures look better, and everything just looks better. 30? What the? My shutter speed's been at 30? Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness. Whatever. It's too late now. Color theory will improve your images tenfold. Okay? And color theory leads me straight into tip number 6. And tip number 6 is to do mood boards. If you've heard it before, we're going to hear it again. And it's super important. Okay? When I don't know, the first 2 years and a half, not one single mood board. I would just go guns a-blazing, eyes closed, just pick a random color and go shoot. Okay? And that was not a mistake, but I just know that if I had planned out my photo shoots, done a mood board, everything would have been so much better. So plan out a mood board. All right, if you have an idea, pick a color, pick a location, and Pinterest is your best friend. Trust me, man, listen, Pinterest is amazing. Actually, rewind. Sidebar. Tip number 6.5 is use Pinterest to find inspiration. Tip number 6 is make mood boards from Pinterest and then share those with your models. Make a little Photoshop collage, something like that. Oh, listen, so much better. Now, you pick a color, okay? Then you go to Pinterest and you go color photo shoot, whatever, and then boom, you find pictures that you like, put them together, or you have fabrics that you want you incorporate something like that. I'll put a couple of mood boards that I've done. Well, mood board 1, mood board 2, mood board 3, mood board 4, 5. I don't think I've done that many. If I have, then I don't. So those are some of the mood boards that I've done, and those help tremendously when heading out to a shoot, because now both you and the model have a visual representation of what the pictures you want. Just, it helps so much when you have an idea of what the pictures you want. Just make a mood board and it will help you tenfold. These are some of the things, non-technical aspects of photography, that really go a long way in helping you create awesome portraits and just elevate and like take you to the next level. So really, I hope you guys got something out of this. Just a quick rundown. Once again, tip number 1 is to get crazy. Tip number 2 is to find someone who's willing to do some crazy and radical angles and to try crazy new things. Tip number 3 is to build trust by being honest and vulnerable with your model. Maybe tip number 3.5 is to get coffee beforehand and then go out and shoot, so you can break down that trust or that wall of tension or whatever if you've never met before. Tip number 5 is learn color theory. Learn how colors work. Look how certain colors work together to add a element of cohesiveness to your images. And tip number 6 is, what was tip number 6? I just said it. Oh, make mood boards. And tip number 6.5 is use Pinterest. Okay, Pinterest is your best friend as a photographer. So yeah, that is all I have for today, and I really hope you guys come out of this with some knowledge or something. Implement them, try it out. Use Pinterest. Really, if anything, just use Pinterest. Actually, use all 6 tips, because all 6 tips work together. So that is it for me today. I think I did that in one take. I messed up my shutter in the beginning, which whatever, but yeah, oops. So thank you for watching, and I really hope you got something out of this. I just want to share some of the things that I've learned, and that's it for me. So